So all the best, guys. Yeah, do well. Start the quiz. Okay, so we go to the first question. Okay, guys, that's time up on the first question. Right? Let's just move to the second question. One person hasn't answered yet. I hope next question I'll find your answers, all seven. Right? Let's go to the next question. It's time up. Yes, I found all seven of you. I'm happy about that. Let's go to the next question.
Sir, I'm not able to do it. It's
You're
not
not able.
showing
You're not
options.
able to enter the options.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll just hold up after this question. Um, oh yeah. Okay, the next question. Okay, perfect. I've received six answers on this question. Who's finding it difficult to enter the options? I'll just help you out. Who's that? Okay, guys. We go to the next question now. Okay, guys. Let's move to the next slide. That should be our leaderboard. And I know so many of you are facing a lot of difficulties in entering the answers, so it's not an issue. Let's just move to the next question, and all of you are doing very well. Let's go. Yep, we have our answers. And let's go to the next question. Question 7 out of 10. Let's go. Perfect. Let's go to the next question. Question 8 of 10. Last three questions. Come on, guys. Let's think it through and do well. Let's go. Last two questions. Okay, guys. Now we go to the last question. Okay, with that, we come to the end of our quiz. And I know a lot of people face technical problems today. So let's just go to the last slide. Leaderboard. Yes. So congratulations, Achintya. So let's just once again, congratulations, Achintya. You did very well. And
Sir,
let's.
it's still loading for me, sir. 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
perfect.
still loading for me. Yes, sir, now it came, sir.
Yeah, perfect. Now let's go to the first question. Which of the following is not a decision making statement? Why is if a decision making statement? Can anybody help me with that? Why is if a decision making statement?
So because as soon as we use the if statement, we have to put a condition, and if the condition is false, like it won't execute.
Perfect. Because see, if no, we are passing a condition as Akshay said, and we are checking the truth or false value of that question, and we are executing a statement based on that. Now, okay. Now we see if else also. It's a similar case. Switch. Switch. What decision does that make? How does that make a decision?
So like it chooses one option from like multiple options. Like we
Yeah,
have to
so
put a
that's again right. It's making a decision of one option from multiple options. Now, while right, while is actually not a decision-making statement. It is a looping, iterative statement, right? While you use to loop over a code for a set of time. So that is why we don't generally consider it to be a decision-making statement. It is known as an iterative or looping statement, right? So I hope we have got that right. All of us. It's a looping or iterative statement. It is not a decision-making statement, right? Now coming to the second part. Okay, the following code prints hello how many times? So now we have the answers here. Does it print once?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Never. Never is also. Why does it print infinite times?
Because the condition is always
Now
true.
the exit control is not here.
Perfect. That's a good answer because it's controlled by the variable condition inside the while brackets, and it's always true. There is no way to make it false. So it's like, okay, let me go always execute. There's no problem. Today's a good day, and it always executes. Right? That's infinite times. Okay. I hope all of you have got that. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts? Or whatever question you have in your mind regarding all of this, you can just stop me and tell me to explain because that is why we are all here, right? To learn something that we haven't understood. And it makes no sense if you're not asking why this certain things work that way and why certain things don't work that way, right? Okay, everybody got that?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Now coming to the next question. Okay, the following code prints hello how many times? Why is it never?
So because we gave the I value as 0.
Mm-hmm.
So while we only execute the loop if the condition is true, but then it's already false because it says I is greater than 5. Since
Yeah,
I is not greater than 5, it won't execute at all.
yeah. So that's the thing, right? While loop only executes if the condition is true, but already it starts at false, so it'll never execute. So that is why it executes never. Now coming to the everybody got that, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Now going to the next question. The following code prints hello how many times? The correct answer is 5. Can anybody explain? Hello, guys.
So again, here. So it prints 5 times because
Yeah.
we gave i's value as 0, and
Mm-hmm.
so while if I and then inside the while statement we gave I is less than 5. So since 0 is less than 5, it will execute until it reaches to 5.
Yeah, perfect. So, guys, just to rephrase that, I value starts at 0 here, right? So, is I less than 5? Is 0 less than 5?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. So now it comes here and print system.out.println hello once. Now I plus plus. What is the new value of I?
1.
Yeah. So on and so forth. It'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally value of I will become 5. Now is 5 less than 5?
It's not less than 5.
Yeah. So once it become I value becomes 5, we'll stop executing. So it'll execute for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is a total of 5 times, right? Everybody got that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Now the next one. The following code prints hello how many times? Why is it one time? Now let's look at the case, right? Int I is equal
Sir.
to 0, right? Is I greater than 5?
Sir, I is not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, as I is not greater than 5, sir.
Mm-hmm.
If it would have come before, it would have not printed only. But as it is coming after,
Yeah,
as it comes after
perfect. That's a very good answer.
system.out.println, that's
Very
why
good
it prints
answer.
once.
Because it is a
It
do while.
controls.
Yeah, yeah. That's a very good answer because it is a do while statement. If it was a while statement as Tarush told, it wouldn't have executed. But because it is a do while, what is a do while loop called? What control loop it is?
Exit control loop.
Exit control loop. Exactly. Perfect answer. Because it's an exit control loop, it executes the case once and then checks for the condition, right? So it at least prints one time. Though the condition is false, it prints one time. Now, hope everybody got that. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts at this point of stage? You can stop me and ask me why, right?
So I have a doubt.
Yeah. Tell me.
So do while both together is an exit control loop, right, sir?
Yeah, that whole construct is a exit control. When the while comes after the block of code to be executed, it's called an exit control loop. The do
Okay.
while statement. Yeah.
Yes.
Now coming to the next question. The following code prints hello how many times? Okay. So let's look at the options. It's infinite, okay, 5 times, okay, one time, but it's never. Why is it never? Why is hello never printed onto the screen?
So is it that because
Sure.
of the break statement given after the for block?
Yeah,
But
perfect. So I'll tell you guys what happened, right? So int I is equal to 0. Okay. So I is equal to 0. Is I less than 2?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Okay, now it's okay, like happily going inside trying to execute this code. But suddenly it sees a break. What will the execution of the program, right? Where will it go when it touches a break statement?
so will it go to that system.out.println hello?
No, it will not go there. See, this break is inside this for loop. Okay.
Sir, it will skip that.
Sir, it's I is equal to 1, I is less than 2. It should be I is less than equal to 2.
No, that's not an issue. The issue, you guys have, everybody has found the issue correctly. Break is an issue. But what I want to know right now is what does break do? What's the nasty thing
It
that break
jumps
is doing?
out of the loop.
Yeah, exactly. Whoever told that, right? It's a great answer. Break, what it does is it shifts the execution of the program outside its parent loop. What's the parent loop of break here? What is the closest loop around it?
For
For, exactly, this for loop. So it's like, okay, now I is equal to 0, I below 2, happily the program execution comes in, but it sees a break statement. It's like, oh my god, I should be out of this place, so it goes outside the for loop. So that is why hello never gets printed on the screen, right? So because break is there here, uh, it never gets printed. Now what if instead of this case, right, system.out.println was first and break was second? How many times
It would have printed every
It will have got printed once.
Exactly, that's a good answer. It gets printed once because first time it'll print hello and then it'll come to break and it'll be like, oh, let's get out of here. So this doesn't matter. Even if it is int I is equal to 0, I is less than 1000 or 10,000, it doesn't matter. As soon as the loop execution touches the break statement, it exits that for loop, right? So that is the drama there. Now let's go to the next question. The while loop executes until the condition becomes
false.
false, right? So while will execute as long as the condition is true, but as soon as the condition becomes false, it will stop the execution. So that is the trick there, right? So next question: which data types cannot be used in switch statements, right? So okay, this is just like a bit of theory. In integer, character and short can be used. Floats cannot be used, basically because floats, right, they have a lot of decimal floating point values. The precision gets lost sometimes, right? So they actually can't be confined to discrete values. So as part of theory, I just want you guys to remember float can never be used. Integer, character or short, they can be used as switch case labels, right?
so like I have a doubt. What does like short display?
A short is actually it's like int, but it's a shorter data type than int. It contains it takes up less memory space, you can say.
But it's like the same function as int.
Yeah, yeah. It takes very less memory space. See, the thing is, sometimes you're writing programs and you can't initialize. See, double, right? Double can actually like almost every data type, right? Integer, float, everything. Even characters, because characters can be represented as integers. They all can be at the end, right? They can all be typecasted to double. But what happens there, right? It's like you're building a big shelf at your home to store one book. Like it's like you're making this big cupboard just to store your favorite book or something. It doesn't make sense, right? So sometimes you need to use smaller data types to save on the memory space. So instead of int, sometimes you'll need to use bytes, short, things like that, right? And sometimes you'll even need to go up the ladder. You'll need to use things like long double and things like that. So that is why, right? We play around with the required data types. Now, coming to the next question. Identify the incorrect statement in the following. Okay. So let's see, right? What does the first option says? If is a two-way statement, whereas switch is a multi-way statement. Is that a correct statement or an incorrect statement?
Correct.
Correct. So why is it correct? Can anybody just guess why is it correct? If is two-way, why do I call if a two-way statement?
So if it's like two way, like if we'll put a condition and if the condition is
True or false, right? If Akshay has a big car, then we can all go for a trip, right? So it's either yes or no, right? It's a two-way statement. The answer to that question is yes or no. Now, switch is a multi-way statement. Can anybody justify why?
So because there are like many options and we are picking one out of the many.
Perfect. Okay, again, now we come to the next option. The expression passed to switch should be of the type byte, short, int, or character. Right? Again, that's a part of theory. We understood why, because these are all precise values, discrete values that we can use byte, short, int, or character, and we can use them as case labels. Now let's go to the last one. Default can or cannot be present in a switch statement. Uh, I think many of you like attended the last class. You remember when we were making that restaurant menu? The first time when we executed, we didn't have the default statement. Second time we had the default statement. Can anybody tell what cases does default cover?
If the options are not there, if there are other options at the
Exactly,
first,
exactly. When we mention the cases right inside the switch block, in some cases, like if that specific case is not present in those cases, then the default statement will get executed. However, it is not compulsory that all statements have a default keyword, right? You can have a switch block without the default statement itself. So default is an optional statement. I just want you guys to remember it's very important. Optional statement, default always. Right now, coming to this part, every case in switch should contain break. Now, should every case in switch contain break? Now, can you tell me why we use break in a switch statement?
So if we don't use break, then it will cause a fall through.
Perfect, perfect. Who gave that answer? Akshay, right? Will cause a fall through, but will the program compile and execute without break statement?
yes, it will. And then every once we select the first option,
Yes, yes,
the
perfect.
other options
Even
also will
without, see,
be
even without break statement, switch will execute. And sometimes that fall through characteristics, right, is very good. I'll tell you why. Now let us say Achintya or Achintya, right? He can jump for 6 feet. He can jump above 6 foot wall. Okay. Now, because he can jump above a 6 foot wall, can he jump above a 5 foot wall?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Now, can he jump above a 4 foot wall?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, right, let's think of put it in that fall through statement. Now, if Achintya, like, let's say put that 6 foot wall at the first, okay. Now, if Achintya can jump over 6 foot wall, then it should fall through to the same case for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like, nobody has to come and check, no, like, can Achintya jump over a 2 foot wall? No, it's obvious. Because he can jump over a 6 foot wall, he can jump also over a 2 foot wall. So, there, in those sort of scenarios, right, you'll need a fall through like case statement, right? So, because if the first case covers all the below cases, you will need a fall through like construct. So, that is why you don't, in some cases you won't be using a break statement, but just remember this, guys. Switch block can even execute without break statements and things like that. So that is why that was the incorrect statement. Every case in switch should contain break is incorrect. Okay, any doubts, guys?
So I have a doubt. Like
Mhm.
in the second, that expression passed to switch statement should be of like byte, short, int, or char data type. Is float the only data type which cannot be used in switch?
Float and double and things like that, right? Things that don't have precision, that cannot be used. And even one more thing that you can't use is you can't use variable names, right? You can only use constant or literals. Let's say like int a is equal to 5. A cannot be a case label, but 5 can be a case label. I hope you guys are just noting it down, because these points, right, we're just building off of conversations like this. And sometimes going back to your textbooks, you might like not have the same context there. So just note all these like key points that we build through our discussions, and go ahead, right? Yeah. So coming to that, even variables can't be used, right, or variable names. However, only literals or constants can be used. Now, coming to the next part. What is the output of the following code? See, this was a trick question, right? Can
Yeah.
anybody tell me what's the trick here?
So that scanner S is equal to new scanner system dot, and that statement wasn't there.
Oh, sorry, sorry. This import java.util.scanner, right? It will it's just imported. We have just imported, not used it. But that's the thing, in Java in any language, you can import a lot of as many libraries as you want, and you do not have to use them, and it's fine. it won't cause an error. That is not the error. But yeah, that's a good point out that we have just imported it for no use, right?
So when you put I is less than 5, it tells that it's not a statement. So you have to,
I is
it
like,
comes as
okay.
an error.
So Tushar, right? Tushar, the second part, right?
Parash.
Tarush, yeah. Tarush, yeah. The second part, Tarush, it has to be a condition, right? It is a condition, right? When I say is I less
Yes,
than
sir.
5, that is a condition, right? So that is perfect.
Yes, sir.
I less than 5. We are good there. What is the next part?
Sir, because the parenthesis is put right after it again, so the system.out.println is not inside the parenthesis. That's why it will show error.
No, it's fine, right? Let's just go through this question, right? Because it's a very tricky question. It has to do with something called scope of variables, right? So I'm just trying to open my Blue Jay. It'll take some time, but let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's see.
So is it like should we have put like int I is equal to se dot next int?
No, no, Akshay. That's fine. Let's just compile this in C, right? Is this compiling at this part, right? We have not mentioned anything in the parenthesis. Okay, we have not mentioned anything in the parenthesis as such. Now, is it compiling? I want to know. I'll just show
So it
you.
won't compile.
One sec. My screen is hanging. Okay, public class test. Okay, let's start from the first. Okay, public static void main for int I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. Okay, now does this compile? Yeah, now it says class compile, no syntax errors, right? So we have found the issues, right? It was not with the condition is fine. It is not with us not specifying anything inside this block, that is fine, right? Now let's do something else. System.out.println hello, right? Okay, will this compile, guys? Will this compile right now at this stage?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect. Let's see. Yeah, it's compiled. Okay, that's also there. But now let's try something. Let's say I want to print out the variable value of variable I after the loop. Now let me put I here. Okay, will this compile, guys?
So it should compile.
Okay, let's just see.
Site wants.
Okay, now see, it's showing us what the error is saying. Undeclared variable I. Now we're all confused now. You see, hey, we just declared this variable int I inside this for
Oh,
loop.
so we have,
Sir, it's not inside the
sir,
loop.
we have to declare the value outside also.
Perfect. See, this is okay. This is called something called a scope of variable, right? If you need to access the value of I outside the loop, you need to declare the value of I before the loop or outside the loop. But right here, where are we declaring the value of I? Where are we initializing that variable?
Inside the loop.
Inside the loop, right? That's the problem.
So int I needs to be, initialized outside int I equals to 0, and then
Yeah,
if
let's
after we initiate outside, it'll be compiled class. Then we can execute the program.
perfect. That's a great answer. When we initialize it outside, yeah, it's able to find it. We can access it outside. But when we initialize the variable inside, we can't access it outside. It's something to do with called scope of the variable, right? So that you have to remember. If you are initializing a variable here, right, you cannot refer to that variable outside after the loop ends. So that is something I want all of you to remember. And that's the last question, right? We had today. Yeah, perfect. So hopefully all of you guys have understood the bits and pieces of control statements. If you guys have any doubts, you can ask me now.
So I don't have.
Yeah, others?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Okay, perfect, guys. I hope this was a good learning experience for us because there are some times, right, when we read control statements, we miss out the bits and pieces. So we always have to go through more MCQs like this and we have to see where we are lacking and we have to develop it. Even today, right, when even I was going through the MCQs, I found many places where I didn't understand the question, I got it wrong, and I was like, why I got it. And I have some experience of Java, and you guys are learning it the first time, right? And if you guys get it right now, that would be tremendous. But the default is like not all of you get all of the questions, right? So just remember that is our learning process. We don't do easy questions. If we do easy questions, we're not here to boost our egos. We are here to learn. So let's do the hard questions and learn slowly, right? So that's what I want to tell you guys. And marks and things like that are never important. How much we learn and take away, that's more important, right? So yeah, you guys can join Pankaj sir's call again. And thanks for having me today, guys. Enjoy your day and your weekend.